It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defended in the corner!
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win! The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker! Kenny Walker! Touchdown! Spotty!
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes!
Caught! Touchdown Detroit Lions! They did it! Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end!
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here! A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good Tuesday morning to you. It is the 27th day of June, 2023. We welcome you here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Danny Cahala, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. Text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000 Sports Radio to 21000. My Ear Supercenter guest line, 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros, and, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on both TSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Find our podcast, listen back to anything you may have missed on demand by visiting Google, Apple, Spotify, and, of course, the iHeartRadio app. MichiganSportsNetwork.com is the website. xbmornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox. And you can find us all individually on Twitter. Danny Cahalan is at Dan in the studio. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you. How are you this morning after a wild one in Texas? Game 1, Tigers take it against the Rangers. Wow, what a start to the series.
Yeah, wow. We'll see what happens with this bullpen in the next few days. Hopefully Matt Manning can give us 7, in his first outing tonight in 3 months.
And what he means by 7, Dan means 17. He's going to have to continue pitching.
Yes.
Complete game shutout. Yeah.
That's what it's going to take here.
I mean, you got to imagine he's 80 pitches,
Nervous.
85 pitches today, maybe, max. I haven't seen how many he's been throwing. Although, you would imagine he's been throwing. It was a foot injury. You just don't put any weight on your landing foot. You'll be okay. You would imagine his arm has been able to stay loose and stay at least reasonably since he got hurt.
You hope. You hope. But you just don't know until we get out there and see what he's got and pray to God that doesn't turn into LSU and Florida from last night. About all you can do. But man, what a slow night in the sports world. I mean, the welcome to the dog days of summer. My goodness.
Wow.
Man, we're looking for workout videos and rumors and everything else just to keep our minds busy. It's like, holy man. And maybe it's just highlighted. Maybe it's just expanded for me because of doing the morning and the afternoons in sports radio and not having, like, you got one team playing right now. Like, that's it. That's all. That makes things a little bit more difficult. A little bit more difficult. And that could be.
There's rumors swirling about the Red Wings. I don't
bring it.
Just
to bring him home.
Yeah, I guess, but it's I I haven't seen any signs of it from the team. I see that this is a lot of fan hope.
Well, it's a lot
happen.
of media shenanigans as well.
I mean, one tweet from Elliot Friedman like 3 days ago, I don't know about.
And apparently those who are in the know, who have been working the phone lines, right? The big conversation on NHL Networks radio, NHL radio on the satellite. So it's a hey, look, things are picking up a little bit. They said it's going to happen, so God willing, it happens. I sure hope it does, because boy, that would be nice. It's not too often you're going to be able to get yourself a guy that has the potential to score 40 goals. What will it cost? I'm not even worried at this point what it costs. To bring him home. Farmington guy, wing wheel's going to mean a little bit more to him being from this area. So hopefully that everything comes together and they're able to make that trade and get to going. That would be a nice little jump start post-draft, because it doesn't sound like, and we'll get to my conversation with Max Bultman on the draft, but it's not like whoever they get at 9 and 17 is going to walk in there and play right away. It's just not going to happen. They're not that guy is not going to be there. It would be almost a miracle to see either one of those players this year, because the NHL draft, much like Major League Baseball's draft, things take time, and guys spend a year wherever they're playing at, whether it's overseas or here in North America or in college, and they finish their year and then they get into the system. You know what I mean? It just takes time. It's kind of a pain a little bit. So we'll talk to Max Bultman coming up here at 6:35. Kyle Barlow will join us. Nothing basketball related, completely about golf, which, I mean, hey, did you know that Coach Barlow played college golf? I did not know that. I just found that out. 2-sport athlete, basketball and golf. So, man, great.
That's impressive.
It is, right? And the way that you wait till he tells the story.
Lucky guy, though. I bet golf was a fall sport back then.
Oh, I would have preferred,
man.
I would have preferred golf be a spring sport, to be honest with you. There's nothing worse than going into your state rounds, your districts, regionals, your league,
Anthony,
state finals. It's cold, it's wet, it's raining. Like, no thanks. I'd rather start in that weather.
You're
100%.
No, you're crazy.
100%.
No, Anthony, you want to know
how are you going to tell me that I wouldn't want to start in that weather?
Because I did both.
That's personal preference.
Okay, look at it this way. You go into golf season, you play all summer. You got your game toned up for the fall sports, versus you're inside for 4 months, and then March 11th, I know it's March 11th, spring sports, because it's my birthday in state of Michigan. March 11th rolls around, and it's 26 degrees outside, and you're on the golf course. No, trust me, you want to start. You want to play all summer and get your game toned up.
I'd rather play the most meaningful rounds in weather that's somewhat conducive to golf, instead of playing the meaningful rounds when it's nasty outside. I mean, our state finals, it was like 40 degrees and horizontal rain. Like, I would much rather prefer our state finals be in May or June than be in late October, November. Like, that's awful. So start me in March. It's about when I start playing here anyways. Get your cart mittens out, get your hats out. It's gonna be a little chilly. Gonna be a little cold out there. But yeah, give me that versus the most meaningful rounds being played in absolute trash weather. And then you can go into your summer, right? And you're primed at the pump. You go into your summer, which is where you're going to be playing, whatever, basically quote unquote travel ball, if you will. You carry your game into the summer and try to get recruited, go on a full scholarship. Get your go to Q school, get your card, go to the PGA Tour, make $100 million, have a hot wife, live in Jupiter Island. Like, what's the problem? It's a great plan. It's a great plan right there. You just gotta execute that plan. And I'm sure there's some trials and tribulations along the way, but still, I mean, that's the idea here, folks. That's what you need to be doing. Got to tighten up, got to focus in on that. All right, we're going to step aside when we return. Tigers last night, more injuries, but a victory. So, I mean, a little bit of both there here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Have you ever played golf at Tullymore, St. Ives? Have you experienced a stay-and-play package in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids? Well, here's what you need to do if you want to take advantage of great deals right now. Go to tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com, and you'll see the link for packages, accommodations, dining, meetings, weddings, events, and so much more, and especially golf on the 18-hole layout at Tullymore and the 18 holes at St. Ives. And they can accommodate any group, whether it's 2 people getting together or 200 looking for a weekend or an overnight celebration. That includes a little business, golf, great food, and beverages. Just go to tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com. They're located in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of GR. Get more info at tullymoregolf.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Huge here for all the Mr. Car Wash locations across Michigan. You're going to want to look into that unlimited monthly pass that I use. Superfly Hayes, my producer, uses it. I can get my SUV washed as often as I like for one low price. You can sign up today. Just go to MrCarWash.com or stop by your local Mr. Car Wash location here in Michigan for the one close to you. And to get that unlimited pass, go to MrCarWash.com.
the Meyer Guest Line. Call 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Now, back to Danny, Ryan, and AB.
Golf season is here, folks. My good friend Matt Golden and his team over at Tullymore Golf Resort are excited to welcome you with open arms to Canadian Lakes, Michigan for not one but two championship tracks, Tullymore and St. Ives. And they're located about 7 minutes from each other. They have a shuttle bus that takes you from point A to point B, so that's great. Just throw your clubs in there, and they drive you right over there for your second 18 of the day. They're located in about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. It's easy to get to because it's smack dab in the middle of the state, no matter where you are driving from. Tullymore not only features top-of-the-line golf, but also top-of-the-line accommodations. So visit TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837. 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today as we welcome you back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Boy, oh boy, what a game last night. Holy mackerel. The Tigers win a game. The Tigers hitting some home runs. The Tigers not striking out more than their opponent. Like, that was a really, really nice day. 7-2 final score. Things were looking a little hairy there through the second inning. It's like, okay, all right, 1-1, like, and then 3 runs in the third, 2 more in the sixth, 1 in the seventh. You win 7-2. My goodness. Now, the story of this game is the fact that Matt Boyd got the start, and I was excited to see what he'd look like, and he lasted only 15 pitches against the Rangers because he had left elbow discomfort. He threw one, it went wild. It went about 12 feet over the catcher into the netting, and then that was that. And then reliever Will Vest, he had right knee discomfort. We're just 1 inning later. Still, the Tigers were able to win, so it wasn't a planned bullpen day, but sheesh. Already have 9 pitchers on the injured list, though right-hander Matt Manning with the right foot fracture is expected to be deactivated and to start tonight. So, they use 7 pitchers.
And it looks like Tarek Skubal will make whatever slot they put him in.
So
he's pitching. They're lining him up.
He's pitching tomorrow in Toledo. And on Thursday, Eduardo Rodriguez is starting in Toledo for his rehab assignment. It was reported by Trevor Thompson last night on the broadcast.
Well, that'll be that's good. Here come the reserves, right? Slowly but surely, 1 or 2 or 3 at a time. All the same week. That sounds pretty good.
Riley Green and Akil Baddoo are both running and intensifying their workouts. Might all be coming together here.
Hey, and just got to hang around. Just got to hang around and survive. 34-43 after the dub last night. Matt Vierling was 3 for 5. His average up to 274. So that's pretty good. Torque was 0 for 4 with a run scored. Did draw a walk, struck out twice. Andy Ibanez was 2 for 4, had 3 RBI, a run scored, hit a home run, struck out twice. So a very action-packed day for Mr. Andy Ibanez. Javi Baez was 0 for 4 with an RBI, did have 1 strikeout. So, 1 is better than 12. That's good. He's hitting 226 right now. Eric Haas was 1 for 4 with a run scored. Scope was 0 for 2 with an RBI and a K. McKinstry came in to pinch hit. He was 0 for 1 with a K. Miguel Cabrera was 2 for 3 with a run scored. Never thought I'd see the day where Miguel Cabrera is batting 7th, but it just is what it is. Jake Rogers. How about Jake Rogers? 2 for 3.
Say it, Ryan.
He needs the applause. This is the first time this season Jake Rogers has hit a home run, and the Tigers have won a game.
It was actually into last season.
Yeah, 1 home run his last home run last year. So
they were 0 for 11, right?
Be 10. 0 for the last 10 in the games he'd homered.
And Zach Short was 0 for 4. So back to Jake Rogers real quick. Did you know, who leads the team right now in home runs?
That's Jake Rogers.
Jake Rogers. He's got double-digit home runs, right? First guy to reach double-digit home runs. It's the team's 77th game. Jake Rogers has only played in 49.
Yeah, the Rangers, I believe, have 5 guys with double-digit home runs. The Tigers 1 now.
And
Shohei Ohtani hit his 26th yesterday.
You need about 5 Tigers to get to 26.
I need about 5 Ohtanis is what we need.
Just one would be great.
Well, there is a college pitcher that also was hit at, I don't know if he was with LSU. I believe he was, that plays both sides of the ball. So he might be. They were talking about it on SportsCenter a couple days ago. Not that he's like, the next day or something is going to get drafted and start like Ohtani did. But, hey, eventually if you have another guy like that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't think any major league team will try to develop someone like Ohtani, because if he's pitching, they're like, oh, he just needs to focus on this. Ohtani's the rare one. It's like, well, he was doing it in Japan, so yeah, we'll let him do it here. Because there's even talks his first few years in Ohtani's career if he should more focus on hitting because he had a couple arm injuries.
Yeah, I'd say it's so much conventional thinking, right? And every time that is somebody like Ohtani or something like Ohtani, so Ohtani doing something that is different from the norm within the sport, it's like, oh my God, buckle up, hold on to your butts. Like, what is this team doing? Just to me, it would even go with, so you talk about like the development, what should he be focusing on? Like, hey, he's a pitcher who can rip the cover off the ball. You need an Ohtani to go out there and be successful for a team to say, okay, all right, let's see if this guy can actually hit at this level. Like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe he's just an Ohtani. He can pitch once every 5 days. He can DH the other 4, and great.
Well, Michael Lorenzen was one of the better hitting pitchers in MLB. I think he actually had some pinch hit at bats at some point.
Pinch hit at bats, or he actually would come in as a fielder and play center field.
And look, I'm all for getting rid of the designated hitter. I think for $30 million, you should have to swing that bat. I think you should have to answer the bell when you throw high heat inside. You should be in that batter's box because you walk away without any repercussions unless somebody chases you down and then everybody grabs them. Then they all yell, hold me back, and then there's chew everywhere because they're spitting and screaming at each other. Next thing you know, somebody got hit in the face with a rosin bag. You know what I mean? Like, I think pitchers should have to hit. But I
think they should.
Ooh, really?
I don't mind having the designated hitter. If they want to save, the pitchers, just have the pitchers hit during interleague play.
What are you saving the pitchers from?
I don't know. That's their excuse. That's
such a Tigers thing. We have to save the pitchers.
So man clown can go on with whatever he wants to do.
Hey, man clown, like this stuff is working out.
Yeah, one thing out of 10. Congrats. He's batting 100. You could bat 7th for the Tigers.
Attendance is up. Game time is down. Scoring average, stolen bases, everything's climbing.
Yeah, he also came out last week and said, yeah, I really screwed up the whole Astros thing, didn't I? Giving them full immunity. Also, you don't remember that strike that happened last year where we delayed the start of the season?
It was 2 weeks. It was like a baby strike. That wasn't even like a real strike.
Well, it went on for like 8 weeks. It's just, they waited a whole off season to talk about it. And then,
yeah, Like it was
great negotiations.
Spring training type of stuff. Delay everything. It was fine.
Still,
they work through.
Bring back the traditional rules for interleague play. Make the pitchers hit, and then that way for the World Series, that rule still stays in effect. But for the playoffs, the teams can, AL and NL can both have their designated hitters. I think that would make the old traditionalists a little bit happier about the game because they can see a pitcher strike out 3 times at the plate.
Yes. It's exactly what we're looking for.
And
it's
then
easy, one up, one down.
And then for 120 games, you get offense.
Right. We'll step aside when we return my conversation with Max Bultman on the Red Wings and the upcoming draft next here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Hey, this is Matt Shepard from the Michigan Sports Network. I love summers in Michigan because it means golf season. Now, 2 things always when I go golfing. I make sure I got my sticks, and I've got plenty of cold, fresh Labatt Blue Light. Whether I've just squeezed in 18 holes or I just want to relax on the patio after a long day, everywhere I go, and I'm serious when I tell you this, I tell people about the smooth, genuine taste of Labatt Blue Light. It's just a great beer. Michigan Sports Network is giving you a chance to win a foursome to Michigan's best courses. Just listen weekdays to The Huge Show and X's and Bros, or just text GOLF to 21,000 to enter. That's GOLF to 21,000. The trip includes 2 overnight stays and 2 rounds of golf, all brought to you by my friends at Labatt Blue Light. So grab a Labatt Blue Light the next time you head out onto the course and enjoy the blue skies, because blue is for Michigan summers and great times. Always enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023 Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt is a registered U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company, Ltd.
Bill Simonson here with a message from my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he's the new managing shareholder for Bean Garter. At the end of the year, they'll be merging with Doran Mayhew, and they'll be stronger together as one of America's top accounting and business firms. And speaking of business, if you're a business owner, decision maker, Bean Garter has retirement planning services in combination with Doran Mayhew that can help take a lot of work off of your plate. Third-party administrator for 401k and 403b plans. They plan, document, design, and have maintenance of all plans. They can help you today. Go to BeanGarter.com for more information. Annual employer reporting, Form 500 and 8955 preparation and filing, and compliance testing. So let Bean Garter help you with your retirement planning services for your company. Stronger together now with Doran Mayhew. You can find out more at BeanGarter.com. That is BeanGarter.com.
for the NHL Draft, just about 48 hours away. Max, my friend, how are you? How's life? How are things, partner?
I'm doing great, Anthony. Thanks for having me. Sorry if there's some background noise. Nashville is buzzing as you would expect.
I mean, I can't imagine that you would be doing this, but it seems like all the bachelorette parties, everybody goes to Nashville all the time, right? I mean, it's like Bachelorette City, USA. They throw on a little Shania Twain. Let's go, girls. Did you do that before you went to Nashville, or no?
No, but I've only been here 4 hours, so the trip is young.
There's still time. There's still time. There you go. All right, Max, I want to talk first about the change that was made in Grand Rapids. They got my guy, Dan Watson, from the Toledo Walleye, the ECHL affiliate of the Detroit Red Wings. He finally gets his opportunity, gets hired by Grand Rapids to be the next head coach of the Griffins. I couldn't be more excited for his opportunity and the task at hand for him. What would you say would be the state of things in Grand Rapids and for this franchise at the minor league level?
Yeah, I mean, certainly they've had some big prospects in the last couple of years, but I would say the most important objective is that team needs to start getting back to the playoffs, right? And I think that's a big part of the way the Red Wings want their developmental system to work is for their guys at the AHL and ECHL levels to be playing really meaningful games late in the season. Toledo has accomplished that under Dan Watson. Grand Rapids the last couple of years hasn't been able to for a multiple of reasons. I think they go well beyond, the bench there. I think the roster has needed to be a lot better. I think especially the crease has needed more than it's had the last couple of years. But nonetheless, all these things are going to work together, I think. And that is the clear objective number one. That team needs to be back in the playoffs.
And my fingers are crossed that it works out really well for Dan, because he's just one of those guys, man. He's just such a nice guy, and very happy for he and his entire family. Now we're getting ready for the draft. This is like prospect heaven right here. Max, is there anyone that the Red Wings could select if they stay at number 9 that could come in and make an immediate impact right away, or is that just like the top tier of the draft that is picks like 1 through 4 maybe?
Yeah, no, there's nobody at 9 who you would expect to come in right away. It's really 1, maybe 2 you expect to do that in a class, and maybe a couple sneak into the lineup at the end of the year, maybe after a season in college or in Europe or something. But no, whoever they pick at 9, the expectation should be at least 1, more likely 2 years away from helping the NHL club.
Do you think that with the current needs of the roster, what do you think is most important? Do you think it's like the skill, the scoring up front, add another forward that you could potentially, grow into somebody that, let's face it, we need some 30-goal scorers on this team. Or, are there some defensive prospects here at the top of the draft that might be too good to pass up on?
It's both. I mean, when you're talking about the draft for the NHL, it's so different from the NFL because of what we just talked about. They're not going to step in right away. You don't know what your roster is going to look like necessarily by the time that they're ready. So they have needs. Certainly, they could use another scorer in the system, some high-end skill. I think they need a right-shot defenseman. They need both of those things, but it's not so much dictated by what they have now as just what's in the pipeline. And I think both of those are very pressing needs.
So which one do you lean more towards then? I mean, if you need both and you're trying to figure this out, because you do have another first rounder in the top 20 there at pick 17, which way do you lean with that early pick?
Whoever the best player that they feel. I mean, it's the cliche, but there's a guy, Tom Willander, for example, who I think should be there at 9. And if they were to pick him, they'd be getting a mobile defenseman with some size, good in transition, good at defending transition. I think he would be worthwhile of the pick at 9. But there's also going to be some centers and some scorers at 9 who I think have every bit an argument as the best player available. And that's probably where I would go as a forward at 9. But I don't think you go wrong if you pick the D, as long as you feel that he's of that caliber.
So when we talk about the draft and how much different it is, more comparable to like MLB's draft, right? You draft a guy, he plays somewhere else, and it takes some time to get him up through the system to get him at the big league level, if you will. This is interesting because the draft and free agency kind of going hand in hand. See, the fire department already knows that things are heating up in Detroit because it's draft season. They're already en route to come get me because I'm too hot right now. But which way do we go in free agency? The rumors about Alex DeBrincat, am I getting too excited about that, or should it be like, hey, no, we should be excited about that because that guy could come in and change some things immediately?
Well, let's see if it happens first. But if it were to happen, I think it would be something that's very worth getting excited about. There's just not that many players in the NHL who can score 40 goals for you. Alex DeBrincat's done that twice. Now, that would not be a free agent signing, right? That's a trade situation. You would have to give something up, and it might be something significant. So that always affects, the way you view something like that. But I think certainly that would be something to be excited about. The Red Wings don't have anybody who can put the puck in the net quite the way Alex DeBrincat can.
And I'm, he could have a salary that's going to be, around $8 million and maybe a little bit more. Would he be the guy from a trade target perspective, guys that they're looking at that, there might be some movement? Would he be like at the top of your list for this team?
Actually, yes, I published that list this morning. So he was at number one. Him and Travis Konechny were 1 and 2 on that list. But I think DeBrincat, because he's just such a rare level scorer, that's exactly what they're missing. And he would be my number one target if I were them.
And if you want to read more, ranking the top Red Wings trade and free agent targets via The Athletic, swipe up and subscribe and do all of that good stuff and find Max's work there. Hey, it's old school sports journalism the way that you know and you love it. Okay, so as this team is trying to prepare for the draft and trying to handle trades and trying to handle free agency, it seems like the craziest time of year in the NHL calendar because everything's kind of happening at once, and then the same thing's happening over on the NBA side of things, right? Draft, free agency, boom, summer league. Everything always happens like in the blink of an eye, and it feels like it's all happening within 1 week. So when we try to prioritize from a fan's perspective, I want to be excited about the draft, and I know that we can't get any luck with a ping pong ball to save our lives here in the city of Detroit, and that's fine, whatever. I'm sure whoever we select at 9, we'll wait and see what kind of happens there. But when we look at trade targets and free agent targets for this team, we talked about kind of what the needs might be for the draft. I mean, the needs are the needs. So if you can go address that via trade or free agency, who might be on this Red Wings roster today that you could see as a pivotal piece in dealing to get a bigger return?
I think more likely in that situation you're talking about futures, but I think especially when you talk about someone like DeBrincat, Ottawa could use now talent in return. They're in the same spot the Red Wings are. They're trying to make a push. So would it shock me to see someone like Jonathan Berggren or maybe even Filip Zadina involved in something like that? That wouldn't shock me. But I think in general, when you're talking about what teams who are moving proven scorers are looking for, it tends to be more futures. And obviously the Red Wings are deep in futures.
We love that. Got to stack the war chest, as they say. What does the draft day like? What will that look like for you from your perspective? Like, what's your schedule like on that day?
Nothing crazy. It's a little bit just react, right? Last year, I don't remember which day, whether it was the first or second. I think it was the second day they traded for Billy Husso. So you just kind of got to be aware that anything like that can happen. But in general, you're just kind of trying to talk to people as much as you can through the day and then make the clock tick faster to get to the draft floor.
And then when you do get to the draft floor, I mean, it's just got to be like the work that goes into it so that you know who all of these different prospects are, because I feel like it's a lot like baseball. There's a million guys. It's a global game. There's a lot of rounds. Like it feels like it would be so hard to be able to get that intel that you need.
Yeah, and there's a lot of video associated with that, but mostly it's just me bugging my coworkers Corey Prumman and Scott Wheeler as much as possible to make sure I know what's what about this class.
See, that's great. You got to be able to lean on those coworkers. If there was a dream scenario, right? Do you think that there's any way Steve might be able to package 9 and 17 together to move up? Is there do you think anybody would even bite on that, or do you think that they'll move around at all with these 2 picks?
Well, you can't really move up from 9 usually. Typically, I think it's been 15 years since the last time there was a team that was willing to trade down within the top 10. So I would have a really hard time seeing that. Maybe you could move up from 17, though. Maybe I look at like Pittsburgh as a team at 14. They've traded away a lot of pick capital the last couple of years. If there's somebody that the Red Wings like and maybe considered at 9 and they don't think he's going to make it all the way to them at 17, maybe that's a spot you could try to jump up. But typically, the higher you go in the draft, the less and less likely it gets. I could see it at 17. I'd be really shocked to see it at 9.
Okay, all right. So Stevie Y might be able to deal. Is he as what's the right word I want to use here? Because every time Steve Yzerman like picks up a phone, Detroit fans immediately think that like we're fleecing somebody, right? Like, oh, we're getting the best of this deal. You know what I mean? Is that kind of the way that everybody else around the league feels about Steve Yzerman when the phone rings? Are they like looking over their shoulder, like just wondering like what's he really up to? Or is that just more of like fan sensationalism because it is the captain, he is our GM, it's a dream scenario, we're all dying that this thing works out and works in a way that, you know, can make the hero kind of return home and rebuild and take the franchise to the next level?
Yeah, I think that's more fan driven, to be honest. I think, you know, the fans kind of do have this grand idea about the quote unquote Yzer plan, right? And to some degree, there's something to that, right? There is a long-term vision in place that has always been very clear. You've never been able to question the Red Wings' direction so far under him. But I do think fans like to take it a step further and add a little bit of personality to that with the quote-unquote fleecings. You know, it's you know, that's part of that kind of comes with sort of the legend of it, right? But hey, that's kind of what makes the sport fun, and if fans aren't invested, none of us have jobs, right? So.
Amen. Yeah, we need them all. Be as sensational and as fanatical and as irrational as you want. Send us all your trade proposals. We love that stuff. Are you kidding me? When you were watching the Stanley Cup playoffs this year, Detroit, obviously the weekend in Ottawa, and then the wheels kind of fell off, and things just were not great, right? So they finished 35, 37, and 10 for 80 points. You know, they had a 12-point lead on Montreal that was an absolute mess. They're behind the standings in Ottawa, behind Buffalo, but then there's Florida. And Florida's kind of interesting because only 12 points better, and it kind of felt like that could have been Detroit sneaking up there. And you see the success that they had. When you were watching the Stanley Cup playoffs, Max, do you believe that this is a team that is at all close, or was Florida, they were just having a magical run, and it is what it is? They got a little lucky. Puck luck never hurt anybody, especially in the playoffs. Or did you feel like there was just such a gap between what you were watching in the playoffs versus what you saw for the Wings in the regular season?
Yeah, I think there's still a pretty clear gap between where the Red Wings are and what playoff hockey looks like. You know, people talk about Florida, and I realize they're the 8th seed. That team won the President's Trophy last season, right? And so they make a couple subtractions. I get it. They trade Huberdeau and Weegar, but that's for Matthew Tkachuk, who's the MVP finalist and obviously showed in those playoffs exactly why they made that deal. So I get that people want to take some hope from an 8th seed making a run like that, but Florida is not your everyday 8th seed. You know, that's probably one of the top 8 to 10 teams in the league, and I don't think anyone should be surprised they made a run.
Max, I know that you had already mentioned a little bit, you know, from this draft that, like Tom, I think you said his name is Willander. Is that how you say it? The Sweden junior. If you know, I've seen a guy by the name of Gabriel Perreault who's been, you know, he's been kind of mocked there to the Wings at 9. You know, a couple of names for our listeners where they try to flip on the NHL draft and they're interested. Who would be a couple of guys at that 9 spot, regardless of position, you could see falling to the Wings?
Yeah, well, so I mentioned Tom Willander. I think you'd have to talk about probably Nate Danielson, center from the Brandon Wheat King. So I think we'll go early. If Dalibor Dvorsky, a Slovak playing in Sweden, were to get to them, I think that'd be a great outcome for them. Super skilled player, has a little bit of that Yzerman, you know, hockey sense to him that I think you kind of look for. So those would be a few names. And I mentioned Tom Willander earlier. That wouldn't surprise me. So those would be a few. Samuel Hanzik, another guy to watch, although I think that's probably maybe more for the second first rounder than the first. But he's a guy who's talked about how great he felt his interview with the Red Wings went. So that one wouldn't surprise me.
He is Max Bultman. You can find him on Twitter at @M_Bultman. He's live right now in Nashville. He's working the streets. I hope you at least make a little bit of time for yourself, man, to have some fun, and can't thank you enough for being willing to take the time with us on a travel day to hang out and talk a little puck, my friend.
Hey, my pleasure. I just walked past the building with the iHeart logo on it, so I'm going to walk in and tell them to give you a raise.
My man, I appreciate you, Max.
All right, take care.
And there is photo evidence of him hiding behind a truck to block out the wind in order to have that conversation. So that's on Twitter. Chris says, I'm not an Athletic subscriber yet, but in my opinion, Max is nailing this. Very realistic about the roster, the possible moves. That's a great interview. Yeah, he's, you know, anytime I try to conjure up something, Max is usually pretty good at saying, well, you know, hold on now. But I do think that the sensationalism of the Yzer plan is really something to behold. Like if it works out, if this thing works out the way that we all want it to, which is the captain comes back in the front office, he's already built one cup team, comes back to save our franchise, and then to win a cup not only as a player but then also as a GM here in Detroit. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. That's what we're all hoping for. And, you know, when you're in it, you think like anything is possible. The reality of the situation is you only get one winner every year, and it's hard to win. Everybody's trying to do it. It is difficult to win, especially at the major league level. And we'll see. We'll see. But I love the sensationalism of the fans. I do. And I know that I catch some flack for my defense, even though I don't necessarily think we need to try to defend Steve Yzerman, but it's probably taking a little bit longer than what a lot of fans wanted. You know, they wanted to see a transformation overnight. Like yesterday.
Oh, gosh. It's not just Stevie, people. There's a guy named Chris Ilitch who owns the team. And if Chris said, Stevie, go get every star you can, this team would be completely different in 2 weeks. We can't do that. That's not how it works.
You want them to jump into the tax?
I would like them to. One guy is not going to win you the Stanley Cup. I'm sorry if you sign Alex DeBrincat. That's great. Everybody else was worse last year than they were the previous year. The guys that you expect, Dylan Larkin, Mo, those guys were not the players they were in the previous season.
Well, Larkin put up some pretty good numbers. And
great.
Mo and Lucas Raymond, sophomore slump. All right, you give him a little leeway there. But what else do you have?
That's my point.
Who else?
The Red Wings are years and years away unless they sign some serious, at least 2 to 3 free agents.
And they got to be top 6 guys. That's what it is. By the way, the upcoming NHL salary cap, $83.5 million. $83.5, up $1 million from the 22-23 season, in case you were wondering, how much the teams can spend. That's why when you see a guy in the NHL that's got contracts, $8 million and above, is like, whoa, this guy's getting paid. It's basically, you take whatever the NHL number is, multiply it by 2, and that's what it equates to in NFL terms, which is crazy to even think about. Hey, folks, step into a world of nonstop action over the DraftKings Casino. Play the classics like blackjack, roulette, and slots, plus you can enjoy exclusive games you can't find anywhere else. Right now, new customers who deposit at least $5 can get a match of their first deposit and score $2,000 in casino bonus funds. All you have to do is sign up, select the offer of your choice, and start playing from a full suite of games. Download the DraftKings Casino app right now. Sign up using the promo code HUGE. You get a match of your first deposit of $5 or more, up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds, only at the DraftKings Casino, only using the promo code HUGE. Now, if you or somebody has a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117, 21 plus, Michigan, only one per opted-in customer. Minimum $5 deposit, max match $2,000. Deposit and bonus amount required 15 times playthrough within 30 days. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/players choice. Restrictions do apply. Hour 2 is next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Disturbed, the Take Back Your Life Tour. Labor Day Monday, September 4th at Soaring Eagle. And same show, same night, Stained. Tickets start at $34 and on sale now at the Soaring Eagle box office or etix.com. Party hard, rock harder. It's been a while. Disturbed and Stained. Labor Day Monday, part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Bullying, lack of patience, cruelty to animals. Those are not good traits. They also happen to be critical warning signs of violence. June is Gun Violence Awareness Month, and the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police wants you to know that at-risk people often display warning signs before they resort to gun violence. Search online for 10 critical warning signs of violence and ask your local police department how you can safely make a difference.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Huge here for all the Mr. Car Wash locations. I think there's close to 30 across the Huge Radio Network. For the one close to you, go to MrCarWash.com, and there you can join their Unlimited Wash Club. Now, this is a quick and convenient way to keep your car shining all the time. It's everything you love about getting your car washed in a simple, easy-to-use, affordable plan. As an Unlimited Wash Club member, you will enjoy all the benefits of washing as often as you like, no long-term contract, convenient monthly billing, and now you can be rest assured with a contactless visit. So go to MrCarWash.com right now, sign up for their Unlimited Wash Club Pass, and that means you can get your car washed at any Mr. Car Wash location across the Huge Radio Network or anywhere in America. And for the location close to you across the Huge Radio Network, you can also log on to MrCarWash.com.
Good morning, everyone.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, Vietnam.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you right along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening here in hour number 2. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you to join the program at any time. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 sports radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176. 248-951-2176. I misspoke at the end of the last hour, because in the NHL, there is no tags. It's hard capped. So when we are looking at the Detroit Red Wings and what they're going to be able to do, it's a little bit different than what the Pistons would do, for example. So when we look at last year, and as we were getting closer to the trade deadline of last season, the 22-23 salary cap number was $82.5 million. It's expected to go up by $1 million to $83.5 million. The salary cap floor, or minimum cap, as they say in the NHL, you have to spend at least $60.2 million. You would expect that to rise by about $1 million as well, just to make all things equal. Now, the numbers that contribute to that, it's basically any player that's on an NHL roster has their AAV, their average annual value. That's something you see a ton when it comes to NHL and salaries. That's calculated by taking the contract, the total salary, signing bonus, all that stuff, divided by the number of years to come up with your average annual value. That goes towards a team's cap hit, or what it costs the team against their salary cap number. Any player that's on an AHL roster that has an average annual value, as of last year, of $1.075 million, and on a one-way contract, counts towards your cap. Any injured player or suspended player also has their AAVs go towards the cap.
And what is the $83 million you said?
83.5 is what is expected to go up to for the 23-24 season.
The Red Wings have $49.1 million on the books. So you're looking at $34 million, $33 million-ish to spend this offseason.
Yeah, 49-1 cap space.
Again, that's if people are willing.
Well, that part I guess I don't understand, because you have to spend at least hit the floor of $60 million.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's that would be 2 Robbie Fabries and a Michael Rasmussen, Anthony. That's not a lot.
No, and Dylan Larkin.
When in reality, you need 3 Dylan Larkins and a Robbie Fabry.
So you have Dylan Larkin takes about 10.4% of your salary cap, with the largest contract on the team at $8.7 million. Then it goes Andrew Kopp at 5.6, David Perron at 4.7, Robbie Fabry at 4, Dominic Kubalik at 2.5, Philip Zadina at 1.8, and then Berggren is there on an entry-level contract at 9.25. Lucas Raymond's there, entry-level 9.25. Marco Kasper, the 19-year-old, entry-level, just under 9.25 at $918,000. Right, then you have a couple of guys like Joe Bellino, who is a restricted free agent. Puce, restricted. Then you get to defense. So the team right now, as it stands today, with the information we have available, $30.9 million invested in your forwards. They have $12 million invested in 4 defensemen that are signed. Mo Seider being the lowest entry-level deal $863,000. You have Mata at $3 million, Wallman at 3.4, and Sherratt at 4.75. And those guys are all staggered, starting at Sherratt down to Wallman, down to Mata, down to Mo. Sherratt has the longest contract. He's not an unrestricted free agent until 26-27, where you would expect him to basically be gone from the team at that point because he's already 32 years old. Mo is a restricted free agent during the 24, once we get through the 2024 season. So going into 24-25, he'll be restricted. So we got one more year. He's going to be re-signed. That's a no-brainer there. But as the salary cap goes up, although you are trying to sign your deals for players, the way that the NHL kind of has it structured is that they're taking the average annual value of the contract. So it's a little bit different if we wanted to go sign an unrestricted free agent, and let's say we wanted to stagger those payments a little bit, kind of like how they do in the NFL, where they front load a contract so that you're not getting hit in the latter years. They do it a lot in the NBA as well. So if you had a guy that was going to be signed for 2 years in $10 million with $9 million up front and only making $1 million the next year, they're taking the average annual value, so $5 million a year, to count that towards the cap. That's a little interesting how they do that, because you would think if you had a player of like Connor McDavid's status, you would give him a 10-year deal, front-loaded on the first 5, and then you'd be getting him in his veteran years on the back end of that deal for cheaper. But it wouldn't matter with the way the average annual value works within the NHL salary cap. So it's not like Chris Ilitch can just open up the checkbook and say, hey, go get players X, Y, and Z, overplay, like for example, overpay for Vladimir Tarasenko. Because that might be, that might be a name that could surface here.
I mean, like, let's put it like last year, Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
The team was $8 million under the cap. If you spent that $8 million on a good player, you could have been in the playoffs.
You're not lying.
That's my, like, they have to be willing to spend the money that they're allowed to spend. Like, when your salary cap is $82 million and you only spend $74, what are you doing?
Yeah, that part I can see. Like, that's, so I get what you are presenting here, as in, this is the cap, hit that number, and albeit, like, I know that I know it's going to be a little bit, I'm using capfriendly.com for my information. Where are you going?
That's on Spotrac.
You're on Spotrac. All right, so we're getting regular, pretty straightforward information here, but the long term of who you have as an unrestricted free agent, who you want to re-sign for the coming years. Roster construction isn't always as easy as we think that it is when it comes to trying to put this team together. But yes, if the salary cap is $82.5 million this year, you should max that out and be able to spend all $82.5 million. Even if that means, hey, I got to sprinkle in an extra, just to get that $500,000 up there, that $500,000. Let's do some performance bonuses for some guys across the board and throw an extra $100,000 at a few guys, right? That part, okay. But it's never as easy. The one good thing about this team is, with Larkin signed through 28-29, he's he's in a stable position. And then it staggers down to the 26-27 season with Andrew Kopp, and you have Robbie Fabry there through 24-25, Philip Zadina there through 24-25. You've got some guys here that are some of the veterans. Perron, will he be there? I don't know. He's 35 right now. Will he be here through next season? He's unrestricted during the 24-25 year. Like, they've got work to do. Like, this is not, this is very much like Major League Baseball. Very much like Major League Baseball. And so I am interested very much so in the NHL draft and who they might get. But it's kind of tiring when it's like, dude, I want to see Marco Kasper, right? I want the fact that we were able to get Lucas Raymond and Mo Sider to come up and play and be as impactful as they were. I mean, that's fantastic. I love that. But sophomore slump guy. Team's got a little tape on him. It's kind of understandable that maybe they wouldn't continue to progress. They catch the fan base off guard because they're so good right away. You just expect them to be able to build on that and continue this exponential growth. But it doesn't always necessarily happen. Doesn't mean they're bad players. Just means that, hey, this is a tough game. We'll step aside. We'll be back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Have you ever played golf at Tullymore, St. Ives? Have you experienced a stay-and-play package in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids? Well, here's what you need to do if you want to take advantage of great deals right now. Go to tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com, and you'll see the link for packages, accommodations, dining, meetings, weddings, events, and so much more, and especially golf on the 18-hole layout at Tullymore and the 18 holes at St. Ives. And they can accommodate any group, whether it's 2 people getting together or 200 looking for a weekend or an overnight celebration. That includes a little business, golf, great food, and beverages. Just go to tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com. They're located in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of GR. Get more info at tullymoregolf.com.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. Have a blast with Rolling Thunder Camper Giveaway. Saturdays in June, 2 players every hour win $1,500 premium play. On June 24th, the 11 p.m. winner rolls out in a new Coachman Catalina Legacy Edition. It's Rolling Thunder Camper Giveaway, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
June is Gun Violence Awareness Month, and the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police wants you to speak up. In 4 out of 5 school shootings, someone knew about the attacker's intent but didn't report it. If you suspect someone you know may be about to hurt themselves or others, speak up. You can report it safely and anonymously through OK to Say, or contact your local police department and share what you know. Whatever you do, don't keep it to yourself.
back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well. From Traverse City down to the Glass City, we say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you to join the program at any time. You can text the keyword sports radio, send that to 21,000. Sports radio to 21000. Our Meyer Supercenter guest line, 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. And it's hour 2 at segment 2, which means it's time for Detroit Lions trivia. God, I wish they were practicing or something right now. Maybe we just get a live report of like what weightlifting's looking like. All right, what standout wide receiver from Houston also punted, returned punts, and returned kickoffs for the Lions in the 1960s?
Daniel will take it. No? Andre Ware.
In the 60s, you said.
60s. Oh, I heard Houston. I was like, boom, got it. I didn't even hear 60s.
In the 60s?
In the 60s.
I'm going to go with Gail Cogdill.
You're only saying that because that was our trivia answer the other day.
Yeah, I know.
I know. The correct answer is Pat Studstill.
Oh, what a name. I would have changed it Studstill to Studville.
Now we got to look up Pat and see if there's any Korean War history with him. Where did he serve at? What kind of cartoon did they draw of him? What kind of oil painting was there of Pat Studstill? What kind of career did he have? That way we can learn about him. I'm sure he's got like a grandson driving around right now going, what the hell? Hey, wait a minute, it's my grandfather. It's my grandfather. So, yeah, and in conclusion, with where we were at on the Detroit Red Wings and the cap situation, it's not as quick and as easy. None of this is as I think everybody wanted it to be. I think that a majority of folks thought that Steve Yzerman was going to come back and wave his magic wand that he might have. Maybe it's a magic stick. I don't know. 50 Cent wrote a song about that. And everything was going to be fixed. Right? And all the bad contracts and the players that needed to be...
Wasn't that Kim's song?
Magic Stick?
Pretty sure.
I don't think so. I thought that was on, what was his, the Valentine's Day one?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, somebody might want to know.
All right, so Pat Studstill.
It was yeah, you're right, Lil Kim and 50 Cent.
I'm looking him up. He was an advisor on the 1974 film Longest Yard, so the original one.
Nice.
Well, okay.
Played Barclay on the Dukes of Hazzard.
He was an actor as well?
Yeah, after football.
Wow.
He's tied with the NFL record for a 99-yard touchdown reception. In 1966, he tied that.
I bet you that pass looked like a punt, too.
And then Calvin Johnson tied his record of 5 consecutive games of 125-plus receiving yards.
So, now that we know this about Mr. Studstill, do you not think that there should be like some sort of Lions like encyclopedia book over some of these stories?
Should be like like how the Yankees have like the Yankees Museum Hall of Fame in the stadium. The Lions should do that.
I wonder where they would put that. I wonder where they could put that. Where it would be like a walk through time. Like, it doesn't have to be a massive... I mean, it might be. We've got some great stories of some people. I mean, who else? You got Jungle Jim out there demining sea mines in the Pacific Theater. You got Pat Studstill, on the set making films and in TV shows. Like
or just convince them to, like, hey, let's make a 10-minute video about different decades of the Lions, highlighting the players, their stories, just Lions history. And that's something that can play... before the game. You could do a different decade each day before all, your sponsored content gets really going. Just people are kind of taking their seats.
And who doesn't love the sponsored content?
Well, I'm saying like that first 30 minutes, everyone's kind of filing in.
Mm-hmm.
And there's really nothing going on.
Oh, but there is the Detroit Lions pregame show.
Yeah, that can be part of your pregame show.
Yeah, lead off with the Detroit Lions history.
Yeah.
I think it would be kind of cool if we had like some pictures and stuff and maybe some like replica uniforms and maybe like, basically kind of make it like the Hall of Fame, if you will.
Because if you don't have the space for it, then, you don't want to try to cram that in.
You're imagining the concourse at Comerica Park, Anthony.
Yeah, kind of. Take us through the years. Kind of cool.
Do it better.
Yeah. Yeah, do it a little bit better. So back to the Wings. They have this coming draft. They have 2 first-round selections, 9 and 17. They have 3 second-round selections, 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, and then a 5th, 6th, and 7th. As it stands today, without any trades or anything like that moving on, 5 picks in the first 2 rounds. 5. Like that's pretty. That's you can do some damage with that. Like that looks good. That looks really good. And then next year, you get 2 first rounders. The pick coming in from Boston is top 10 protected, but outside of that, you can't imagine that Boston, it's going to be in the top 10 for the draft. Like so, that one should be good. Then you have a 2nd, a 3rd, 2 4ths, a 5th, 6th, and 7th. Like you have 5 picks in the first 2 rounds. Like this, without knowing a whole lot, this could be a year where they load up on some guys that, in 2 to 3 years could be a major part of this program. But that's the issue in 2 to 3 years. That's why for me, if you can wheel and deal for an Alex DeBrincat, right? And he can immediately join basically your top 6 players. I mean, your top 2 lines are the 2 lines that are going to do the most damage. They're getting the most playing time. They have to have a goal scorer out there. They need somebody that can come out there that has the potential when on the right line can go out there and make some hay. They have to, especially when you got a guy like a Lucas Raymond still on his entry-level contract, and maybe they can get that extension done, right at the end of the season, get the framework done, during the season, sign on the dotted line unless he goes absolutely crazy. But it is, it's contract year for him, so that's pretty. It's going to be important for the young fella, and I have a lot of faith in him. That's somebody I feel like is a long-term sort of play here. And I just, for the fan base that thinks that you're just going to walk in and abracadabra and poof, like everything's going to be different. Like, look how long it's taken the Tigers. Multiple managers, multiple drafts, trying to make trades, trying to acquire. Then, God forbid, somebody gets injured. Or, in the Tigers' case, the entire staff gets injured. It's like, well, how are you ever going to know what you actually really have if everybody's coming back and doing rehab assignments because feet are getting broken, shins are busting, and arms are falling off, and elbows are blown out? Like, good God. Scott Harris, I mean, hell, how are you even supposed to know what you have? A.J. Hinch putting together a hodgepodge lineup basically every single day. So for me, that is why I am as patient with the Red Wings. Do I want them to be better? Yes. Did they show signs of it last year? Yes. Does this town desperately need them to be good? Yes. In the NBA, as the 2 seasons kind of mirror each other, in the NBA, one guy can change everything because of the limited number of people, like the limited bodies. You got 15 guys on your roster. Like, that's it. Your top player can be the difference in you being an 8 seed and you not making the playoffs at all, or, you being an Eastern Conference champion. Golf season is here. Matt Golden and his team ready to welcome you to one of the best golfing experiences in the great state of Michigan. Tullymore Golf Resort and Canadian Lakes offers not 1 but 2 championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives. It's located about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant, smack dab in the middle of the state, so it's easy to get to no matter where you're driving from. Visit TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or call Matt right now at 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. And be sure to book your stay and play at Tullymore today. The coach, Kyle Barlow, joins us next year on X's and Bros of the Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here with a message from my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he's the new managing shareholder for Bean Garter. At the end of the year, they'll be merging with Doran Mayhew, and they'll be stronger together as one of America's top accounting and business firms. And speaking of business, if you're a business owner, decision maker, Bean Garter has retirement planning services in combination with Dorn Mayhew that can help take a lot of work off of your plate. Third-party administrator for 401k and 403b plans. They plan, document, design, and have maintenance of all plans. They can help you today. Go to BeanGarter.com for more information. Annual employer reporting, Form 500 and 8955 preparation and filing, and compliance testing. So let Bean Garter help you with your retirement planning services for your company. Stronger together now with Dorn Mayhew. You can find out more at BeanGarter.com. That is BeanGarter.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Join us now as he does on Tuesday morning. A GA under John Beeline at the University of Michigan, a Concordia alum, and now an assistant coach at the Ohio University for the Bobcats. A good buddy, Kyle Barlow, the coach. Find him on Twitter at KyleBarlow4. Send your kids recruiting tapes there. Coach Barlow, my friend, good morning to you. How are you? How's life? How are things?
Life is good. Things are good. I am good. And send your recruiting tapes to Ohio University, not Western Michigan. I know Kalamazoo is an outlet for this show. And, funny story, Bellino, we had an assistant coach for the Western Michigan Br0's come up to me and to my boss, Jeff Bowles, the head coach at Ohio University, and, really state his appreciation for the radio program and said, I was getting up to go recruiting early one morning at 6:35, maybe 7:35 slot, and heard the voice of you and me. And he said, I couldn't believe it until the end when he shouted me out, said Concordia alum. And there it is. And, it's funny, man. It's funny how many people that you reach with your show. And, it was a nice little shout out. So shout out Jeff Rudder for the Western Michigan Br0's and Taylor Johnson at Grand Rapids South Point Christian or South Christian, and got some good players there. Definitely send me those recruiting tapes.
Hey, Coach Rudder. All right, maybe is Coach Rudder trying to box you out? Is he like, hey, wait a minute, I got time at 6:35 in the morning. How do I get on that show? I mean, come on, he knows the number. I say it every day: 248-951-2176. This is going to be the home of MAC basketball. I can feel it. Look at this. Look at this. We're growing. We're growing on the people.
We are growing, but there's only one MAC basketball program on this show, and that's the Bobbies, baby. Roll Bobbies.
Do they really say that? Roll Bobbies? Is that a thing?
That's what we say down in Southern Ohio.
I thought it was OU, yeah.
Virginia border. Yeah, oh yeah. Roll Bobbies, baby.
Oh man, I always thought it was OU, yeah. And now I'm all rolled.
Oh, for sure. Oh no, yeah, definitely OU, yeah. But we've kind of adopted it to Roll Bobbies, which somebody wrote on the whiteboard in my first year here, and I said, "Who is Bob? Like, why are we rooting for Bob? And why are we rolling him?" And then I realized it's Roll Bobcats, Roll Bobbies. That's what we do down here.
All right, yeah. I mean, if we're adopting new slogans, I mean, at Bowling Green, we had Go Falcons, we had I Ziggy, we had all kinds of stuff.
I Ziggy. What is I Ziggy, by the way?
No idea.
What is that?
No one ever explained that to me. I have not the slightest idea what I Ziggy Zumba Zumba Zay means. Like,
as my wife sings it from the other room right now, she's listening to us because she's shout out BG grad.
I forgot. So, we went to school together, me and your wife.
Yeah, no doubt. And yeah, she was singing it from the other room, and whatever you guys do with this Ziggy that's not even in the English language, yeah, congrats.
Well, and congrats to you because I didn't even know your wife in college, so I feel like that's a win for you, right? You know what I mean?
Well, listen. Let's just keep the story going that you didn't know each other. I'm happy with this story. I may not even want the truth.
Hey, man, we've reached the dog days of summer. I mean, like this, think about where we're at right now. Everybody listening is knowing the same thing. We got two Tigers pitchers get injured last night before the second inning. And, of course, the injury list, you can have as many guys on that roster as you want. So we're just loading it up. That's great. We got a little bit of NBA free agency and, who the Pistons going to throw some money at? Where will Damian Lillard go? All right, not really a whole lot going on with football outside of the NFL. Might force the Jets unwillingly into Hard Knocks, which I think would be fascinating to watch. Aaron Rodgers just eating shrooms and throwing darts all over the field. Like,
I would love it.
Just psychedelic. They're burning some sort of incense. Everyone's high. No one can get up off the couch. Maybe they're doing that. I don't know what they're up to. Outside of that, like, man. How's your golf game? How's your golf game?
You know what? Having a kid really messes up your handicap. I will say that. But here's the question I pose to you because, we have a lot of viewers on the west side of Michigan, which is Gulf Haven, obviously in the north, in northern Michigan. So here's my question to you. Me and my buddies sat in Howell, Michigan 10 years ago. This is our 10 year anniversary of doing the golf trip. And we said, we want to play the top 3 public courses in Michigan in a weekend, and we're going to make this our golf trip. And it started with 4 of us. Now we're up to about 16. and we do it, every year annually, and this is our 10th year, like I said. So we Googled the top 3 courses in Michigan, and one is Tullymore, which you'd be happy to hear because I think your sponsor would be happy to hear too. Number 1 was Arcadia Bluffs. I think Forest Dunes was ranked 1 on a couple of publications, but obviously Arcadia Bluffs is way better than Forest Dunes, in my opinion. Love Forest Dunes. So basically that was 1, 2, and 3. Arcadia, Forest Dunes, and Tullymore, and different sites have different orders. So that was the origin of our golf trip, was we want to play the top 3 public courses in Michigan all in one weekend. So I pose this question to you. Are those the top 3 public courses in Michigan that you can just get on and get a tee time every year? Because we're doing that again this year in honor of our 10th anniversary. But what do you think? Are those the top 3 courses in Michigan?
Oh, wow. Geez. Oh man, that's really difficult. I really enjoyed Arcadia, but I haven't played it in years. Like I played it a very, very long time ago. And so I remember
can I hit
of
you
it,
with this?
Mm-hmm.
Can I hit you with Arcadia before you go on? And you can kind of think about your answer, but Arcadia Bluffs, you can see Lake Michigan from every single hole. And there's a lot of people who are going to say Harbor Dunes, right? Which is right on up in Traverse City, right on Lake Michigan as well. But in Harbor Dunes, you can't see Lake Michigan from every single hole. In Arcadia Bluffs, you can, if you're doing a panoramic from every tee box, you can see Lake Michigan, which I love. It's a true Scottish style links course, even though it's a little elevated. Number 12 goes all the way down to the water, the par 5, which I love, my favorite hole. But you can see Lake Michigan from every hole, which I love about that course.
Did you mean Bay Harbor?
Oh, yeah, Bay Harbor.
I was going to say, Harbor Dunes in Monroe, Michigan, actually turned into a Ford plant.
I love Harbor Dunes.
It's gone.
I love Harbor Dunes.
It's gone now.
Oh, it is? Really?
Yeah, it's all done. They were going to make it an Amazon distribution center, and then I think it went and became something in relation with Ford. But yeah, all the land was sold. But you used to be able to play 18 for $20 like 2 summers ago.
Oh, my goodness. I loved Harbor Dunes when I lived in Toledo because I could take a tee shot and there was power lines that crossed the fairway.
Yep.
If I hit a bad one that actually hit the power lines, it's a free drop.
Free drop.
It's in the rules of golf. Look it up. USGA. Free drop.
Free drop. And did you know that if your ball plugs or embeds in the ground, you could take a free drop? I did not. I didn't know that until the U.S. Open.
The U.S. Open.
Yeah, I've heard of pit clean in place where the course is really, really wet,
right?
And there's a lot of standing water. They would tell you that in tournaments is pit clean in place or whatever. But I didn't know if your ball embeds that you get a free drop. And I mean, how many strokes is that going to save the average golfer? I feel like we should know those things. They set out like a newsletter or something.
No, I love it.
Yeah, so
I love it. But did you also know if you are standing and water, if you like take your stance and water actually like comes up, you know how it seeps on like a rainy day, even if you're in the fairway, if the water, at least you can see its presence once you set your feet or your club, then it's standing water. You can take a free drop as well.
Yeah.
Like, look at all these rules that we're just bypassing right now.
Yeah, I absolutely have to. I need to play the I got the Grand Traverse coming up in July.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I have not played the
American
Bear.
Pie favorite.
Yeah, I have not played the Bear at Grand Traverse. It's a bucket list thing, so I definitely want to get out there. I would have, of course, as I have played, I would say Tullymore, Arcadia, and Bay Harbor would be my top 3. But Forest Dunes is on there, and also Gray Walls in Marquette.
Ooh.
Yeah, I have never played there, but it is definitely on my bucket list. And then there's a couple courses in the greater Grand Rapids area, the Mines and Pilgrim's Run that I have been referred to. That they're like, you reference points. You need to go out there and play.
Pilgrim's Run is legit. The only thing, like, I don't think it cracks the top 3 for me because, again, like, if I'm playing golf and I'm at Arcadia Bluffs, like, there's nothing better in Michigan. You know what I mean? Like, you see Lake Michigan from every hole, so I'm a big fan. But Pilgrim's Run is really good. I played Thornapple's Point out there in Grand Rapids as well. Really liked it, right on the on the river, the Thornapple River. The thing about Thornapple's Point, I played there in college when I was subbing for somebody. And I say subbing like it's our local muni league, but I was a basketball player, but I would sub for the golf team when they didn't have enough guys at Concordia. And there was a 239-yard carry because for some reason they thought we should play the tips. Being in the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference, I played for Concordia University. They thought we should play the tips and play that course from 7,200 yards. So there's a 234-yard carry that I think I took a 17 on that hole at Thornapple Point.
Wait a minute.
Guess what, Bellino?
You played college golf?
I participated in college golf. I don't want to say I played it because that would suggest I was good enough to be a college golfer, which I wasn't. I just worked at a golf course at Majestic. Shout out the Majestic in Heartland, Michigan. Top 5 golf course in the state as well. I worked there all throughout college. And so I got pretty good at it. So, the golf coach, if he needed a guy for a weekend to be another qualifier, he'd call me. And, I was always good to play some good golf courses, except Thornapple Point. And that place, oh my gosh, 235-yard carry off the tee, Bellino. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing?
Are you playing Tullymore this year on your trip?
We are.
All right, go play Tullymore from the tips.
No, I won't do it.
They got a 257-yard par 3 that's a carry over a marshland. Gian looked at me and he goes, "What the beep do I hit here?" I said, "To hit something that goes 258. I can tell you that much."
Why is Gian playing the tips? He's trying to keep up, man.
Yeah.
Pride has killed more men than cancer.
What a line!
Gian, scoot up to the lights, baby.
What a line! Does Gian even know that he's being slandered right now on morning radio across the state? And the thing about it is, for those that don't know, Gian stands about 5'9", probably 135 pounds, soaking wet. Like that's it. Like we're not talking about like some big old Puerto Rican bodybuilder. This isn't Miguel Cotto we're talking about. We're talking about a guy that. But I'm telling you what, he's been smacking the snot out of the driver, and we went there and. We took his brother. His brother wanted to play there. We're like, no, you scoot up. And finally, after the first hole, he's like, yeah, no, I'm glad I'm playing from up here. But we did it just to challenge ourselves. And they were having some sort of tournament. And the starter said it was playing closer to 7,500 yards. And are you sure you want to do this? I want to make sure you guys have fun. We're like, no, it's going to be fun. It's like the Bataan Death March out there, man. I mean, it was exhausting. You had to swing so hard just to get like par 5s that are 637. Around where I play, my normal course, I can hit driver and basically 3 or 4 iron just about. And sometimes, the other day I went driver 6 iron into a par 5. Like when you're 630 something, it's like, I gotta mash a drive. I gotta smoke a
driver 3-wood 4 iron for 635. I'm just counting the yardage right now.
if you get a good lie and you're in the fairway, maybe try a little driver and then driver off the deck, a little DOD. If you got some control in there, how do you say? You'll get a little crazy, and that goes back to your pride thing.
Yeah, and who would have known that Gian catching strays at 6:35 in the morning or 7:35, whatever time it is right now, just catching strays, and he don't even know. He's not even awake, and we're gonna have to let him know that he just caught a couple strays. But yeah, I think when you look at it, I love Tullymore. I would never play from the tips. Sometimes I look at these courses, and sometimes even like the Bear and the Wolverine up in Grand Traverse. Shout out American Pie too. You look back and see where the pros are teeing from, and it's like, golly, that's a whole football field behind me. That's a long way to just carry. You know what I mean? And so,
and you got to it's tight. You got to hit it pure too. Like you can't just get up there and mash. You can mash one into the woods, and then you're hitting 3. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, not only do you have to hit it far, but you got to hit it somewhat accurate. Like you just put it in play. I mean, it's it really is. And you know what they say? You take your 5-iron carry distance and then multiply that by 36, and that's like the max in which you should be playing.
Really?
I didn't know if you knew that.
Okay, I didn't know that. So 5-iron carry distance.
Yep.
Multiplied by 36.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna do some math here and get back to you. But I think I'm playing from the seniors tees.
Well, I mean, how far do you think you can carry your 5-iron?
I can carry the 180, which is not a round number. And I know we can do the math. I was trying to think I could do it 200. Okay, yeah, perfect. That's exactly where I want to play from.
And
That's 65 is good. 64 is better for me.
Yeah, and I was playing at TPC Michigan with my uncle, and he was like, "Well, what tees you want to play?" And I said, "Well, I'll play because they have like black, blue, then white, and black is the tips." And I was like, "I'll play from the blues." And he's like, "I'll play back there too." And the other guy we were playing with, who was gambling with my uncle, was like, "Why are we playing back here?" I looked at him. I was like, "Why are you playing back here?" I was like, "You can play from the whites." I said, "You're 62 years old. Play from the whites." Like, why do you want to make these? Like, in the first time in his life, he actually listened to me. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. I said, "Wow, he's actually going to listen to me." Like, I'm speaking rationally to this human, and he's rationally responding with like, "Yeah, I guess that seems somewhat intelligent." Like, pride has killed more men than cancer. That is incredible.
Yep.
That's going to stick with me forever. In any time, Coach Barlow, and when's your golf trip?
July 21st to 23rd, going to Tullymore, Arcadia, and then Forest Dunes, and heading back down 75. Kissing that late night flight back from Detroit to Columbus, because everybody knows, if anybody's been on a golf trip here, with I think most of your listeners have been, you don't want to drive 7 hours after a golf trip. You're just going to take the flight. Just take a smooth flight back, a nice 30-minute flight to get some rest.
There you go. I like that plan. I like that for you. I think that's a great idea. And also on your golf trip, and I'm sure we'll talk about this before you actually hit the road for that. But if your friends are ever wondering, oh, do I lay up? Do I try to clear this? Do I go for it? Just whisper in their ears. God hates a coward. Okay.
You know what I say? I love God hates a coward, but I'll usually whisper in their ears. I said, man, we traveled all this way. Like, we didn't travel this far for you to lay up.
Layups are for basketball.
That's the boom goes the dynamite. That's the line right there. I was hoping you'd pick it up. I was hoping you did it. You got it. I threw you a lob. You laid it back in. You didn't dunk it. That was perfect.
Yeah, we look like D. Wade and LeBron in that majestic alley-oop with the Miami Heat, where Wade throws it up and he's just running around with his
arms. And I got my arms out.
I love it. He is the coach, Kyle Barlow, and he's going to tell you on your next golf trip, don't lay up, man. God hates a coward. Smash it. Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Layups are for basketball. See ya.
Step into a world of nonstop action over the DraftKings Casino. You can play the classics like blackjack, roulette, and slots, plus enjoy exclusive games you can't find anywhere else. Right now, new customers who deposit at least $5 can get a match on their first deposit and score $2,000 in their hand in casino bonus funds. All you have to do is sign up, select the offer of your choice, and start playing from a full suite of games. Just download the DraftKings Casino app. Do it and do it now. Sign up using the promo code HUGE and get a match of your first deposit of $5 or more, up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds, only at DraftKings Casino, only using the promo code HUGE. Now, if you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117, 21 plus, Michigan only, one per opted-in customer, minimum $5 deposit, max match $2,000. Deposit and bonus amount require 15 times playthrough within 30 days. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/players choice. Restrictions do apply. Hour 3 is next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
In the den.
Hey, sports fans, here's a hanging curveball that you can knock out of the ballpark. This is Matt Shepard, the voice of Detroit baseball, inviting you to step up to the plate at Eagle Casino and Sports, the mobile sports book where you can bet on all your favorites all year round, including, of course, our national pastime. So download the app and start winning today. Eagle Casino and Sports, made in Michigan, made for Michigan. Must be 21 years or older and in Michigan to play. The Tigers continue to tangle with the Rangers in Texas, and were reminded on this date in 1963 of an incredible, almost unheard of Tigers team accomplishment when they lost 10-6 to Minnesota. In that game at Metropolitan Stadium in front of 8,800 fans, first baseman Norm Cash could have basically taken the day off because Detroit recorded 0 outs at first base. That's right, the combination of Phil Regan, Terry Fox, Don Mossy, and Bob Anderson induced 16 fly balls, 1 foul pop-up, 6 strikeouts, and a force out at second base.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, this is Matt Shepard from the Michigan Sports Network. I love summers in Michigan because it means golf season. Now, two things always when I go golfing. I make sure I got my sticks, and I've got plenty of cold, fresh Labatt Blue Light. Whether I've just squeezed in 18 holes or I just want to relax on the patio after a long day, everywhere I go, and I'm serious when I tell you this, I tell people about the smooth, genuine taste of Labatt Blue Light. It's just a great beer. Michigan Sports Network is giving you a chance to win a foursome to Michigan's best courses. Just listen weekdays to The Huge Show and X's and Bros, or just text GOLF to 21,000 to enter. That's GOLF to 21,000. The trip includes 2 overnight stays and 2 rounds of golf, all brought to you by my friends at Labatt Blue Light. So grab a Labatt Blue Light the next time you head out onto the course and enjoy the blue skies, because blue is for Michigan summers and great times. Always enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023 Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt is a registered U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company, Ltd.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny in the corner!
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win! The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker! Kenny Walker! Touchdown! Smarty!
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes! Caught! Touchdown to Detroit Lions! They did it! Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end!
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here! A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here, X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio. And if we learned anything through Twitter in the last 44 seconds, it's I have to get to Forest Dunes. I got to do it. I have not played there. I have played Arcadia Bluffs. I got to get to Forest Dunes because Forest Dunes is all over everybody's list. We did get a couple of honorable mentions here. Joe Kinsey, Outkick the Coverage, says 1 Whiteford Valley, 2 Bedford Hills, 3 Legacy. Ken Tari says, I see that list, and I raise you Cherrywood 1, Maple Grove 2, Demi Acres 3. I don't even think Demi Acres is called Demi Acres. Crooked Creek when you can't get on Legacy, says Twigs. Twigs up in the morning listening. Shout out to my guy Twigs from Toledo football.
Do any of these people travel south of Lansing for golf? There are lots of golf courses in southeastern Michigan, people. And don't get me wrong, Arcadia is beautiful.
Those are in jest.
No, I know that. I'm talking about the people that just think like Arcadia and Forest Dunes are the only 2 courses in the state.
Well, are they the top? I mean, Gray Walls. Gray Walls is another one that I've heard a lot about.
Every single course on Treetops is a premier golf course.
Yeah, I got it, and I've never played the par 3, and I want to.
And it hasn't even been mentioned in any of these. Not one course on Treetops where they, have hosted a PGA senior event for 25 years.
Yeah, Treetops. I always loved Boyne. Boyne's got the Ross course is kind of interesting how they tried to replicate all of the famous great holes from Donald Ross courses over the years, and the fact that you can play a hole and be like, oh, that's 18 on Inverness, because the way it's not, but it is. It's kind of cool.
I haven't done that. I haven't played that one yet. But again, you don't, like you're saying, Anthony, if you haven't been out there, like, it's cool that you see the one hole that you recognize, but unless you've played most of the courses on there, it's really not going to, it's just going to be a normal golf course to you.
Right. Exactly. So my question is, how long is it going to take me to get to Gray Walls? Like, I feel like
that's a good shoot for you. That's a good 9-hour trip, I'd bet.
Really? All right, I'm gonna 7 hours and 19 minutes.
Oh, that's reasonable.
Marquette
I don't know
Golf
about
Club?
for how much is a round of golf though.
I mean, 7 hours, dude. How does it take so long in the UP? Somebody explain. I've never been. I've only gone
because
as far
there's
as
no
Mackinac.
interstates. It's 55.
See,
2-lane highways.
Oh man, it's a lot of ground. It's a lot of ground to cover. But I could fly. You could fly in for an hour and 25 minutes. Fly from Detroit into Gwynn. That might just rent a car and go. That might be the route to do it. Just take a little puddle jumper up there. Get out up into the UP. Man, that's a long way. Let's get to Freddie, the pizza man, who's on hold. Good morning, Freddie. What are you up to this morning? How's that ice cold Ice Mountain? I love Ice Mountain, by the way.
Where's Warren Valley rink?
Oh, I mean, now that they took the East Course out, I mean, it's a top 10 still, but it's not top 5 like it used to be.
Oh, I was just joking around. Is it really top 10?
I'm just kidding.
I was just joking
no.
around. Anthony, I called this morning. I actually have a bone to pick with Dan today, not you. But I heard Dan was talking about golf courses. Now, I'll give you my top 3 if you even care.
Yeah.
But of course, I'm only going to talk about ones I golfed. So I haven't golfed a lot of these courses. I just don't have the time, so I'm doing a lot of research. Now, for me, this has a piece of my heart. So for some, it won't be number one, but for me, it's Washtenaw Country Club. There's a golf club. There's this Washtenaw is a beautiful course. It's over 100 years old. It's hard. It's beautiful. Since they went public, people have kind of ruined it a little bit. So other than that, it's a beautiful course. It's incredible. It's challenging, and that's number one for me. Arthur Hills would be my top 3 because I've golfed it. It's Bay Harbor, / Bay Harbor, and Harbor Shores, the one Jack Nicklaus built. Benton Harbor there, St. Joseph is another beautiful course. Those would be my top 3. So kind of all over the board. One way up north, one on the west side of the state, and then one right here in our hometown, Washtenaw. Washtenaw is just a great course. I know a lot of people have golfed it. I know Danny's done my outing 3 or 4 years in a row. I think Ryan was there, one of them. It's a great course, man. It just really is. Have you ever golfed there? Anthony?
No, I have not. Washtenaw Golf Club is the 3rd oldest golf course in the state of Michigan. Opened in 1899.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're golfing there, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford might have hit a tee shot from when you're teeing off on number 1. Who knows? Lloyd Carr still has his locker in there. It's Michigan dominated because it's in Ypsilanti. It's near U of M, so it's Michigan dominated.
As it should be, as all courses should be.
Yeah, there's some beautiful greens sprinkled in there as well too, green and white. So, but it's definitely it's Michigan dominance. But whatever. When Michigan golfs there, they don't lose. So everyone gets a 4. Anyways, so my bone is, since you slandered me yesterday once again, but it's okay. I'll let you know you're the host of the show.
Who slandered you?
Yesterday. I want to talk to Danny because Danny said something yesterday that kind of ticked me off. Not because Danny said it, because I've heard this before. Now, Danny said that Ken Holland won 4 cups and he failed at the end. Well, yeah, I guess he did fail. And he also told everyone rebuilds take 10 years. And man, has he been right. He has been dead on right. Now, the problem is everyone wants to dog Chris Ilitch. Okay, I kind of get it. I don't get it. Whatever. I'm not in that position. I don't own a sports team. But I remember when his dad was a failure for the Tigers. And I remember when he was a failure for the Red Wings at the beginning. But, I'm old man. I remember all this stuff. Then he started spending money. And I go back to Ken Holland toward the end. Now, did Ken Holland want to keep that streak going? Or did Mike Ilitch want to keep that streak going? Because if he didn't, I'm only guessing here that Ken Holland said, Mike, listen, we got some pieces here we can trade. We can still win, but we can really get a lot of talent for Zetterberg and who's the Russian kid? The Russian
Slava
number
Fetisov.
13.
No, 13.
Pavel
13.
Datsuk?
Toward the end, could have got a lot. He retired. I think he retire or something, or stayed in Russia or whatever. But anyways, they had a lot of talent there toward the end. They didn't trade. They kept it. They got too old and they got nothing for him. The Tigers, same thing. Now, everyone wants to talk about Al Avila, but let's talk about Dave Dombrowski's trades at the end. He traded David Price. He traded the left fielder, and he traded the the closer. What they get in return? Nothing.
Hold on, Freddie. We're up against it. We got to hit the break. So stay right there. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Hey, Meyer.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd.
Let's root for the home team. This week, shop Meyer for 30% off Tigers apparel. Exclusions apply. Meyer, your proud hometown partner of the Detroit Tigers. Now that's a winning team.
For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Have you ever played golf at Tullymore, St. Ives? Have you experienced a stay-and-play package in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids? Well, here's what you need to do if you want to take advantage of great deals right now. Huge hit for all the Mr. Car Wash locations across Michigan. You're going to want to look into that unlimited monthly pass that I use. Superfly Hayes, my producer, uses it. I can get my SUV washed as often as I like for one low price. You can sign up today. Just go to MrCarWash.com or stop by your local Mr. Car Wash location here in Michigan. For the one close to you, and to get that unlimited pass, go to MrCarWash.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now back to Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, and Anthony Bellino.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us. You know, Tullymore's made a lot of people's lists in the top 3, and you can actually knock that right off your bucket list of golf courses to play by calling Matt Golden and his team right now. Just pick up the phone and dial 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. Or you can visit TullymoreGolf.com for all the information you need to book your stay and play at the beautiful Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes, Michigan. It's about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant, which means it's smack dab in the middle of the state and easy to get to no matter where you are driving from. TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com. Dan, is Freddie still there?
He is.
Okay, let's get back to Freddie. Go ahead, Freddie.
That's a course I want to do next, is Tullymore. I got to knock that off my bucket list for sure.
Great halfway house.
What?
They got a great halfway house there.
What's that?
It's like when you're making the turn, but instead of going all the way into the clubhouse, they have like a little house in between, and it's like basically like a mini clubhouse where they have, you know, drinks and food and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, I thought it was something else. I'm sorry. Hey, before I get back to my point, hey, Danny, since you're the golf expert on the show, the Rocket Mortgage tournament that's going on, are they going to have any problems with all these trees that fell down, or are they going to clean all that up?
Oh, no, it'll be fine. They got that all cleaned up yesterday. The course was reopened by noon for the players.
Yeah, I saw some pictures of it, but I didn't read into it, so good for them. It's good. What a storm that was. I thought all my trees were going to come down on Sunday night. I'm like, oh my God, look, it was crazy. I don't know how it was by you guys, but it was crazy out in Canton.
You see any of that tornado video from Indiana on Sunday?
No, I didn't see it, but I heard about it, but I didn't see it.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
You know, the weather's tough, man. The weather is tough. It's unpredictable. It's dangerous. Like, it's rough.
So real quickly, because I want to get off the phone, let other people call, but I don't want to sound too aggressive. But all I'm getting at is, I'm not saying Chris Ilitch is right or he's wrong, but we have to examine why we're in this mess when it comes to the Tigers and the Red Wings. Okay, the streak. They wanted to keep the streak going. It's Mike Ilitch's team. He can do whatever he wants to do, but you can't tell me, unless I'm wrong, Ken Holland wanted to give out those big contracts. I think the owner wanted to give them out because he wanted to keep the streak going and keep winning. I could be right. I could be wrong. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Now, when it came to the Tigers, when Jim Leland retired in 2013, you know, that was kind of the time you have one of the better GMs in the league. That was probably the time to say, listen, you know what, it's time to let go of some of these guys because we get a lot in return for these guys now. If we wait, we're not going to get anything, which ended up happening. We didn't get a lot in return for a lot of those guys, and they kept going for it, and it was Mike Ilitch that gave
which
Zimmerman
guys?
that long. Verlander, JD, Max Scherzer, Vmart was given that ridiculous contract when he couldn't even run to first base. Miguel Cabrera was given that contract because Max told the team to buzz
Freddie,
off.
the guy,
I don't want that.
Freddie, I cannot stand people that say that Miggy was given that extension. The guy led the league in doubles that year. He had like 54 doubles or something.
Well, you know what? I will tell you this. You're right about that because I get them giving Miggy the contract because Miggy was Mike Ilitch's legacy. It was his guy. That was like, this is my guy. I traded for him. I want him to retire a Detroit Tiger. I want him to go in the Hall of Fame as a Detroit Tiger. That's my legacy. So I get all that. I get all that. And he at that time, he was a great player. I get all that. But there was other pieces on that team they could have traded, but they decided to hire a rookie manager and keep those pieces and keep going for it. And
why would you trade Justin Verlander? And why would you trade Why not re-sign JV and Max Scherzer? They're still pitching today. It's 2023.
I understand that, but
they offered Max. They offered Max Scherzer. He didn't take the money.
Right.
All I'm saying is you went to 2 World Series with most of that group, and they failed both times. Jim Leland, the leader of that pack, retired, and you brought in a rookie manager. Where do you think you were going to go? Where do you think you were going to go with Brad Ausmus? And they tried, and it's, you know, when the Marlins won in '97, what'd they do? Okay, I know it's a different franchise, but Dave Dombrowski stripped that team. He traded everybody. Leland left. He traded everybody. What'd they do? They won a World Series in 2003 with a lot of the guys he traded for. All I'm saying is, Chris Ilitch gets so much blame, and maybe he deserves it, and maybe I'm wrong. It's just my opinion. It's just toward the end of the Red Wings and toward the end of the Tigers that Kevin Holland and Dave Dombrowski get all the blame in the world, and I think it's wrong. I think he went in the office, and Ilitch's office, and listen, I think we need to sell off here. I don't think we should keep signing these long-term contracts. And the owner said, no, we're doing it. And I think that's why we're in this mess. And that's all I'm really getting at. I mean, that's just,
and as long as we can all agree, Freddie, that this mess on both sides, right? Because then, you know, you go through what the Tigers have been through, flipping managers again, trying to figure out how to, you know, kind of piecemeal this thing back together step by step. You got a whole staff that's injured. The entire roster's on the injured list. Like, this takes time. Like, this is not going to be some overnight flip of the switch. You know, in these types of leagues, in the NHL and in Major League Baseball, where your draft picks aren't necessarily readily available.
But I will tell you, when you talk about the two franchises, the Red Wings and the Tigers have had some bad luck the last 2.5 years. They really have.
Awful.
I mean, the major trade they made for Verlander, the top prospect that they traded for, blew out his arm. It's going to happen, right? We never knew what this kid what he could have done. All the top guys or pitchers all hurt, you know. And then there's a flip side where you say, well, you don't draft pitching high. That could be true, but the Tigers have had so much bad luck in the 2.5 years. It sucks. It really does. But with the Red Wings, they haven't had that much bad luck. They just don't have the talent, and that's what kind of ticks me off. It's like the Red Wings are an historic franchise, and there's not a ton of talent over the last 5, 6, 7 years on that team, and they're not really getting all the major injuries. So that's what kind of ticks me off about the Red Wings. But I don't know. That's just kind of my opinion. I wasn't mad because Dan said it yesterday. I was mad because I hear that a lot, and it's just like I just think if we would have taken more of a proactive role in 2013, 14, and 15. These franchises wouldn't be in this mess. I don't think they would have, but that's just my opinion. Have a good day, guys. Bye.
Alrighty. There he goes. I don't know. The Red Wings had some awful luck this year. I mean, Bert broke his hands 5 times. Hronek went down with his shoulder. Rasmussen had a knee. Zadina had a lower body. Fabry had a knee again. Edvinsson had a shoulder injury. Verana went AWOL. Like, I mean, both teams. And then last night for the Tigers, I mean, my goodness. Matt Boyd gets 2 outs. Vest gets an inning. Like, that's it. You have 5 outs. You got 2 guys down. They have 2 guys to go down to injuries in 32 pitches. Like, I really don't know. It's like, okay, you know, yesterday going into the series, we're talking about, okay, hey, here come the reserves. Like, here come the reinforcements to the front, right? Great. And then it's like, okay, here they come. And now all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, these guys are coming up. They're going to be making their rehabs and their returns, and they're going to be going to Toledo. Okay, we'll monitor the situation, couple weeks. Let's see what happens. And boom, 2 more injuries. It's like, gee, I mean, I have to ask this. And this is not the first time we've asked this. Some of it is fluky. Sure. You know, you take a ball off a shin or something like that, or you break your foot because of a foul ball. That's a little fluky. You're running, you come up, you know, because you have a calf injury or something like that. It's a little fluky. But all these arm injuries makes you wonder, doesn't it? What might you be wondering? We'll talk about that on the other side here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. Roll on Fridays to win a share of over $8,000 in premium play. Each week in June from 7 to 11 p.m., 3 lucky players every hour roll the dice for prizes. The rolling champion each night wins $1,000 premium play. Roll on Fridays, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Shop for July 4th with just one stop at Meijer. Right now, buy one, get one free 80% lean ground beef. And Kingsford twin-pack charcoal briquettes for $16.88 with M-Perks. Plus, get 50% off the entire stock of swimwear for the family. Buy 5, save $5 on Pepperidge Farm buns, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, 7-Up, or Dr. Pepper products, plus deposit where applicable. And Lay's potato chips. Get more for your money with the same prices online and in-store at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Bill Simonson here with a message from my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he's the new managing shareholder for Bean Garter. At the end of the year, they'll be merging with Doran Mayhew, and they'll be stronger together as one of America's top accounting and business firms. And speaking of business, if you're a business owner, decision maker, Bean Garter has retirement planning services in combination with Doran Mayhew that can help take a lot of work off of your plate. Third-party administrator for 401k and 403b plans. They plan, document, design, and have maintenance of all plans. They can help you today. Go to BeanGarter.com for more information. Annual employer reporting, Form 500 and 8955 preparation and filing, and compliance testing. So let Bean Garter help you with your retirement planning services for your company. Stronger together now with Doran Mayhew. You can find out more at BeanGarter.com. That is BeanGarter.com.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you right along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. Always a pleasure. That's Dan and Ryan. I am Anthony. Feel free to tweet at us at XB Mornings. We want to know your top 3 public courses in the state of Michigan. Tyler Clark tweets into the show, says Maple Grove is the truth. Yeah, I suppose that's interesting. All right, let's get to Joe in GR at Sunday anniversary. What was Sunday's anniversary? Joe, good morning to you, my friend. How are you, partner?
Hey, bonjour. Hey, man.
Oh, it's
Sunday
GR
was the
Joe.
game.
There he is. What's going on, man? Long time no talk. Where you been?
I tried calling you yesterday twice, man, on your show and the Huges, and you were pretty booked yesterday afternoon. At the Huge show, it kept hanging up every time I called, so you must have had guests scheduled. Sunday was the day, hey, my people took down that Custer guy.
Really? That was the anniversary of the Battle of Little Bighorn?
Yeah, June 25th. We are the only people to ever take the American flag.
Really? So you're, are you Sioux Nation? Is it Lakota?
No, I'm Ojibwe. I'm Ojibwe from Sault Ste. Marie, Botawing.
Okay. Wow.
The fast-moving waters, eh?
So, hey, GR Joe, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
In your history, was there a lot of internal conflict here between the different tribes?
Yeah. It was because of assimilation. As expansion came westward, we had to fight for resources. So Michigami or Michigan, we used to have Fox and Sioux and Lakota, Algonquin, all kinds of nations were here. And then the Three Fires was formed, and that was because the church and the Americans kept killing our people and taking our land. So the Three Fire, the Ojibwe, the Odawa, and the Potawatomi made an allegiance to protect our three nations, and we chased out all the other nations to preserve our lands and our resources for our people.
Okay, so prior to the invasion of Europeans to this country, do you know if there was like often fighting between the tribes over land, resources, etc., regardless of Europeans, like prior to them getting?
Yeah, but it wasn't like a conquest like we think of war. So mainly when we went to war, so I always tell people when I do my public speaking too, is that they think because I'm from Sault Ste. Marie that my people, we just stayed there all year, eh? No, we migrated different seasons for different reasons. And so often when we went to war with other nations, it was often to marry off our warriors, because we knew long ago before this God guy came over here, we knew that the consequences of violating natural law. Like, we didn't need a scientist to tell us that. We didn't need some ordained dude in a black robe or any of that to tell it. We already knew that. We knew the nature. And so that's why none of us, we have these clan systems, and our clans, help dictate how we're supposed to be in our society or our world, right? Like, I'm warrior clan. I can never marry or be with a woman from my clan, no matter if she's Ojibwe, Odawa, or Potawatomi. If she's Wababiji, Dodum, there's no thing there.
Really? So you couldn't marry anybody from your clan. You would have to go somewhere else to find a wife.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And yesterday you were talking about, I called because you had struck a nerve with me that I thought was pretty cool. I didn't expect from you. You were talking about the NHL jerseys and that people have this right to that and that right to that. And I always tell people freedom goes both ways, right? Mm-hmm. And people hate that. Your right to jump on a bandwagon, I have the same right not to jump on that bandwagon, right? That's how freedom works.
Correct.
I get so much grief when I go to an event and I refuse to stand up or honor, that hate song and that hate flag. But that's my freedom, right? That's what they went and said they fought all these wars for me to go do, right? Was my freedom to not participate in that ceremony.
Correct.
So if that is a true right, then we all should acknowledge that freedom is a two-way street and respect everybody's say on whatever freedom it is that they have. or that they're agreeing with. Instead, we sit here and we purge people, we weaponize people, we try to conform. And I just want to tell everybody, hey, us natives, we're not conformists. We're the farthest thing from that. But yeah, you know what, your take on it I thought was interesting, and I agree with it 100%. I wish more people understood that. Then that last call guy, that was a dumb idea to say that Miggy did not deserve that contract. What a moron.
Well, here's
dude
the
won
thing.
The Triple Crown, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he's Warrior Clan. He's fired up now. He's fired up now. Be careful.
Yeah, last 50 years. Tell me somebody that won the Triple Crown, man.
Yeah, no. Look, I get that, and then also with the NHL thing, the only way that I knew to try to, or at least I thought I knew, to try to explain it to people, were a Russian-born player, because anytime you're talking about, the community that's out talking about the jerseys and, how discouraging this is and blah, 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 and you can't say, we're in such a strange place right now. You can't say anything because you're going to get canceled. So, all right, let me take it to a different realm, and where more people might actually disagree with me in the open, instead of disagreeing with me behind closed doors. They say, yeah, Bellino might be onto something here. If I said a Russian-born player, if he doesn't want to wear an American military-themed jersey, he shouldn't have to. Like, you can't, like, how are you going to mandate them, like, to do that and make some sort of public stance to where, you don't know what that's going to do to any family members he has over there. And people that think that that's preposterous or that doesn't happen, we live in a very isolated, secluded place. The world is a lot different than what we think. And the fact that we just try to run around and push our values and our way of life on everybody else, it ain't that way everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's what
Absolutely.
I try to, as me being a Catholic, I'm not going to tell a Jewish person they got to run around before the basketball game in a warm-up jersey. It's got a big giant cross on it. If they don't want to, they don't have to. But that's what this country is supposed to be. And, there's a lot of, I don't know, like you said, a lot of you better conform, convert or die, that type of deal. And I don't like that very much.
Yeah, a lot of weaponized. It's the same with the Ukrainian war. The Americans are all about it because that demographic represents America, white Europeans. Nobody gave a damn, hey, 2 years ago when it was happening in Syria, or we had kids in cages. But we got this whole big, well, you better support the war in Ukraine, blah, 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 blah. No. Right? Like, you only care because it looks like America.
Well, and we got a lot of money invested in labs over there. We got some people higher up that were, making some cash over there off the energy business. Like it's not rocket science to know why we are there, and why we are funding this, and it's, you talk about dangerous. I mean, my goodness, the state that we're in, I can't believe more people aren't paying attention. It's almost like, something. It's like the little submarine that went down with the billionaires. Right? It's like, hey, here's this little submarine. And, oh, by the way, did you happen to hear anything that took place in the news that week outside of the sub? Like, no, it feels like everything's like, hey, look over here, magic trick. Like you do that with your kids, right? You don't want your kids to see something, like whistle at them. They come over and look at you like, hey, distraction over here. Don't look what's on TV. And then they can go back to watching TV again. It's kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, and I think your point with the Russian hockey players and the jerseys was spot on, because I think people forget about, hey, that recent history of the KHL even 3 years ago.
Yeah. I had a buddy that played there that they had the goaltender was stuffing his money when on payday, they would come in and pay them, right? And he was talking about the goaltender was so nervous because if they just put in the locker, like, yeah, you got paid, the money's in your locker, you go to your locker, there's no money. And the goaltender was literally strapping the money into his pads. Like, it's a different world, man. We don't, people over here, we complain a lot, and we got it awfully good, my friend.
Yeah, no, you do a good job, bro, and I just wanted to tell you, I think you did a great job of bringing up that topic in the way that you did. So I just wanted to say
Joe.
Thanks.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And
have a good
happy
day,
anniversary.
Let me glitch. Thanks, bro. Have a good day, bro.
Thank you. And to be honest with you, Joe said some things there. I don't even know if he was swearing at me. I have no idea.
He was.
I don't know if he said goodbye, if he said to go. I don't know what he said. I don't know what he just told me, but I love it.
I love how he uses the whistle in place of swearing. That's like fun. That's funny to me.
I love it. Like, it's so fun. So when I went to grade school, We used to laugh that my grade school class was like the United Nations, right? We had so many different people, different looking people from different cultures, right? Show and tell was wild because, people like would bring in food or different things that like, yeah, what do you eat at your house? Like, oh, you don't eat, like, for me, like, oh, you're not having pasta? Like, what are you having? And it's like, oh, man, like, I kind of want to try that, but I'm kind of a picky eater because I'm only 8 years old, and I really don't know, like, what that is, so I'm not really sure. But you're exposed to it at a very early age. That's why I think people our age, I feel like we were exposed to more different kinds of people, and that's why, like, a lot of this stuff that's taking place, it's like, well, it doesn't, like, what are you really barking about? Like, we had all kinds of different people in my class. It was great. It was a lot of fun. The more that you're exposed to this, like Joe, like, I didn't know that was the anniversary of the end of General Custer, and I come from the city that has a statue of the guy. We have a statue of General Custer right at like the main intersection, and across from the Custer statue is St. Mary's Church, and there's General Custer. Got beat straight up, divided his forces. And that's the way that that's the history of the world. Like, you go somewhere new. What do y'all got over here? Here's your options. You lay it on the table. And look at the Romans. I mean, you act like people in history are like, I can't believe they did this. Oh my God, they're not teaching this in school. What do you think they were doing? Dropping off gift baskets? It's happening right now in different continents all over the world. Like it's human nature. We're the most violent species on the planet. So, man, a lot of fun conversations. I love Joe. I like I said, I hope that Joe calls every week because there's always something new to learn. The fact that he's in the Warrior Clan, like, yeah. Like, Joe, explain to me how you ride a horse and shoot a bow and arrow at the same time. Anybody who's ever ridden a horse knows that is not easy. That is a wild animal. First off, how do you catch a horse? Secondly, how do you train it so that you can ride it? And are your thighs that strong that you can hold on to the horse with your legs while accurately shooting a bow and arrow? That's what I want to know. Like, I'm fascinated by it. I love it. Like, that kind of stuff, like, yeah, absolutely. Like, maybe Joe can teach us something. Like, now we call it axe throwing, and then we go to the bar and we drink and we throw axes, which sounds like a terrible idea. But you know what? Whatever. People do it, and it's fun, and, as long as you don't get, crazy or whatever, I suppose. But, yeah, like, learn to throw a tomahawk from deep. And then think about it. Like, we play American football here. Imagine coming out of the tunnel and trying to play an NFL football game. Like, you have no idea as a civilian the level of, like, adrenaline that would be pumping and fear that would set in when you knew that was real. You can't even imagine it because it's like jumping out of an airplane. Unless you've actually jumped from an airplane, you have no idea what it's like to jump out of an airplane. Right? People that skydive will tell you. But you can't imagine it. You've never felt the fear of that door opening and, like, oh, what's down there? Gravity? Cool. Like, running out of that tunnel to play full contact football? Unbelievable. Now run out of the tunnel or into the open field, the guy chasing you across an open field with an axe in his hand. Like, are you nuts? And Conor McGregor said that one time. He said, yo, I come from people that ran across open fields with battle axes. This is how I am. I'm like, damn, okay. Like, if you can control your mind to think like that, like, you might be a dangerous man. And the Tigers. Let's get back to the Tigers. That's a kind of a rough transition. I'm not really sure how to segue out of this because I could talk about this for hours. I could do a whole show on that. That wouldn't be a piece of cake. But we were talking about the Tigers. Freddie didn't want to sign Miggy, and that really fired up Joe. And I would want to fire up Joe. Who knows? Joe could probably ride a horse and shoot a bow and arrow at the same time. But I can't, so I'm not going to try to do that. Tigers win 7-2 yesterday against the Rangers. In 2 more injuries. Is this fluky or is there something to it? That's what I want to know. And Dan, I saw you tweet this last night. Right as Boyd throws that thing.
Anthony, we've been saying this for years since Kevin Rand was first promoted, and now I believe he has left the organization. This team's injuries have skyrocketed. It's been. Were there any? I don't remember. I remember one significant arm injury for about 10 years there, and it was allegedly because it was Guitar Hero.
Still doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so my point is, when Kevin Rand was around, Justin Verlander didn't have any major arm injuries. Kenny Rogers didn't. Max Scherzer, I don't know when we're going to just start questioning the staff, because it's been 3-4 years now where the injuries have piled up every single year. This team used 18 starting pitchers last year. They're probably at 9 or 10 now already.
Yeah, I mean, can we call him? Can we talk about this?
I don't know if he's available. See if you can find him on LinkedIn.
I got him. Kevin Rand, president, Rand Bullpen Initiatives, LLC.
Maybe he's available.
Yeah, I mean, we should like is this? And the thing about it is also we don't realize this when it's happening, right? But we're entering a new era where we have now I guess not necessarily the Sandlot kids, but the travel ball kids are now adults. Does that play a role now? Because all of the younger pitchers that are coming up, hey, we got to draft arms. We got to, high draft picks on the pitching. Are these younger guys, are we now entering that phase of, MLB history where a travel ball kid is now old enough to play Major League Baseball? And are we seeing some of the long-term damage and effects that no trainer might be able to fix because, some younger guys that are coming up are having these injuries because they have been overused at the youth level? Have we reached that phase and we don't even realize it because, hey, all right, so how old is everybody? When did travel ball explode the way that it is? I'm sure there's some parents right now that are driving around that just got off a tournament this past weekend. They might have another tournament next weekend. Their kid's got to pitch however many innings. It's like, wait a minute, I don't know.
That's our boy Russ Brown, our NFL draft guy. He's dealing with that right now. His kid's playing every weekend this summer. It's like maybe not every weekend. Cool it. That's how my brother did it. My brother, he blew his arm out after he's 18 years old. He had to get a arthritic scope surgery because he had been throwing too much.
Yeah, I mean, we might be at that phase right now where we're starting to see more younger pitchers getting hurt because they've been throwing it as hard as possible, since they were 10 or 12 years old, and the years are adding up. The clock, life's different now. Life is just things.
This is from Sam in Saginaw. Is it just bad luck, or do the Tigers and Red Wings organizations need serious help evaluating strength and conditioning?
We need serious medical attention. Stop into a world of nonstop DraftKings casino play. You can get in on the classics like blackjack, roulette, and slots, plus enjoy exclusive games you can't find anywhere else. Right now, new customers who deposit at least $5 can get a match of their first deposit and score up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds. Download the DraftKings casino app right now. Sign up using the promo code HUGE and get a match of your first deposit of $5 or more, up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds only at DraftKings using the promo code HUGE. If you or somebody who has a gambling problem wants help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline at 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan, only one per opted-in customer. Minimum $5 deposit, max match $2,000. Deposit and bonus amount required 15 times playthrough within 30 days. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/players choice. See you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Michigan Sports Network.
Shop for July 4th with just one stop at Meijer. Right now, buy one, get one free 80% lean ground beef. And Kingsford twin pack charcoal briquettes for $16.88 with M-Perks. Plus, get 50% off the entire stock of swimwear for the family. Buy 5, save $5 on Pepperidge Farm buns, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, 7-Up, or Dr. Pepper products, plus deposit where applicable. And Lay's potato chips. Get more for your money with the same prices online and in-store at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Imagine this. Winning big at Soaring Eagle. Have a blast with Rolling Thunder Camper Giveaway. Saturdays in June. 2 players every hour win $1,500 premium play. On June 24th, the 11 p.m. winner rolls out in a new Coachman Catalina Legacy Edition. It's Rolling Thunder Camper Giveaway. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Hey, this is Matt Shepard from the Michigan Sports Network. I love summers in Michigan because it means golf season. Now, 2 things always when I go golfing. I make sure I got my sticks, and I've got plenty of cold, fresh Labatt Blue Light. Whether I've just squeezed in 18 holes or I just want to relax on the patio after a long day, everywhere I go, and I'm serious when I tell you this, I tell people about the smooth, genuine taste of Labatt Blue Light. It's just a great beer. Michigan Sports Network is giving you a chance to win a foursome to Michigan's best courses. Just listen weekdays to The Huge Show and X's and Bros, or just text GOLF to 21,000 to enter. That's GOLF to 21,000. The trip includes 2 overnight stays and 2 rounds of golf, all brought to you by my friends at Labatt Blue Light. So grab a Labatt Blue Light the next time you head out onto the course and enjoy the blue skies, because blue is for Michigan summers and great times. Always enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023 Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved.